Have you ever been there? You have this massive to-do list staring right back at you, but you just can't move a finger. You sit there, clicking through tabs, staring at the ceiling, feeling that heavy weight in your chest. And then the voices start. You tell yourself your lack of discipline, that you're a failure, that you are useless for society, and you'll definitely start tomorrow or your dreams, your objectives, even your goals. But what if I told you that you are not like lack of discipline? That the problem isn't your willpower? What if I told you that your real energy, your mental health, and the energy that you have inside you is the real problem because it's at 0%? Okay, see, we live in a world of toxic productivity. A world that has brainwashed us into thinking that resting is a sin and that being busy is like a privilege. It's a personality trait for everyone, but I think there's a massive difference between just stalling and being truly burnt out. Because when we feel burnt out is when we cannot do anything even if we want to because we don't have energy. Today, we're going to break down why we feel this way and how to tell if you're actually procrastinating or if your body is literally screaming for rest or for, like, I don't know, a total stop. I get closer to you. We've been conditioned to fear the world like lazy since we're kids. Being lazy is framed as the ultimate failure, the real sin. And if you aren't working, a story, grinding, or I don't know, doing your projects, you're falling behind. But here's the truth, the real truth about that. Laziness, as we've talked to understand it, it's a myth. It's a real myth. It doesn't exist. It's only a label we use to punish ourselves for being only real humans. Because I think humans need to rest and also activities that they like. And for me, that's a real human thing inside us. What we call laziness is almost always a symptom, not a disease. Sometimes it's fear of failure, that you're so afraid of not doing it right that your brain chooses not to do it at all. Other times, it's perfectionism paralyzing you, but more often than not, it's burnout. It's your brain's circuit breaker flipping up because it simply cannot handle one more task. We live in a hustle culture that measures human value by output. We've been sold this idea that if you aren't producing, you aren't valuable. This creates a constant background radiation of anxiety. You want to do everything, but you end up doing nothing because the weight of who you're supposed to be is just too heavy to carry. We need to accept a basic fact. We are not rendering engines. We are not processors meant to run at 100% 24/7 of capacity without overheating. We are biological organisms. We are human beings. We have seasons, just like a field needs to, I don't know, follow to become fertile again. We need to. Your mind needs periods of absolute stillness and need to rest to stay creative and to stay productive. So, if it's not a lack of willpower, what could it be? Let's look at the red flags that I think prove you are lazy. You're just running on an empty. I think to fit the problem, we first need to name it, to know it. Most people confuse these two, but they feel like very different. Common procrastination is something real specific. You're avoiding that sale, that email, that project, or even that gym session you wanted to have because it's boring, because it's difficult, or you're scary. You still have energy for things like scrolling for hours on TikTok, on Instagram, or watching a series on Netflix. But when you act like that, you know that you're just redirecting your energy away from the hard thing or the things that makes you feel scary. Man, but burnout is real different because burnout is universal for everyone because it's not just about one task or a project or an adjective you have. It's about everything. It's about everything. You feel physically heavy, like your limbs weigh twice as much as they should. You feel like real heavy, bro. And you start feeling cynical, stressed, and you find yourself thinking, what's the point anyway? What's the point doing that thing, or this won't change anything in my life because my life is a real bullshit. When you're burnt out, even the things you used to love, even the things you used to like it, like I don't know, photography, hanging out with your friends, play some sports, or even play video games, bro, feel like a real core. And my friend, that is the real red flag you have to solve. Think of it like this. Your willpower is the gas pedal, but your energy is the fuel in the tank. When you're just procrastinating, you have gas. You're just afraid to push the pedal, but with burnout, the tank is bone dry. You can floor the pedal all you want. You can scream at yourself to just be disciplined, but the car is not going to move. Pushing the pedal harder won't create fuel. It'll just break the engine. That's why you have to stop punishing yourself for not being able to drive a car with an empty tank, because I think no one can do that. Instead, we need to learn how to pull over and refill. And surprisingly, the fuel isn't just a leap, it's something more interesting than that. So, if your tank is empty, how do we get back on track? A standard productivity advice tells you to push through. I'm telling you to listen. Here are 3 tips to be productive by prioritizing your recovery. Okay, I have another clock, and that's why I have to put 5 minutes here. And we are going to tip number 1. First, the 5 minute rule, but with a really good twist. Usually, they will tell you, you'll start for 5 minutes and you'll keep going. But my version is something real different. Commit to 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes to work or to do the project you want to do. And like analyze yourself. If after those 300 seconds, sorry, I'm not good at that, 300 seconds, you feel flow, great, that's really great. But, and this is the important part, if you feel like physically sick, you feel lazy, and you feel like stressed, stop. You're just proving yourself that it's not laziness, it's your real energy trying to say you need to rest, and that project, that goal, that objective is not for you, because the things that are for you make you feel like alive, with energy and with all the things possible. It's a lack of capacity. Forcing it now will, I don't know, will only double your recovery time later, because you feel more stressed, you feel with more anxiety, and you feel like more tired. Let's go to tip 2. Prioritize active rest. Man, I think that's one of the most important tips I can give to you, because now in society, I think it's the most important tip we have to put in work. We often think scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or even watch a series in Netflix is like rest. No, it's not rest. Don't think like that, because it's passive consumption. It keeps your brain firing, but with another activity. What is actually rest? Go for a walk. Take pictures about the beautiful sunset you have in front of you. Not for work, just for fun. Take some photos, meet a friend, and talk about one activity or something that is interesting for both. If it doesn't leave you feeling like recharged at 100%, it wasn't rest. And that's why we usually feel like more tired, and you feel like, I don't know, you feel more stressed when you scroll and scroll and scroll, because you think you're like wasting time, because it was just a distraction for you. It's not rest. And we are going to the last tip. Clean your surroundings. I think is one of the most important things you can do. Visual clutter is mental weight. When you're burnt out, Every mess on your desk is like a tiny to-do list in your brain, screaming for your attention and screaming to be like solved. Clearing your physical space gives your brain like permission to stop processing unnecessary data. Cleaning your desk is more productive than actually working at it because you have to be smart when you're trying to study or you're trying to like solve a project or working on a dream you have, because everything that can interrupt you, it's something real important for your brain to be solved. And these tips, these really important tips, like this coin that I have in my hand, has a great story. I found this coin. I bought it at Santiago Bernabeu. I'm a really Real Madrid fan. Real Madrid! Real Madrid! Real Madrid! Real Madrid! Real Madrid! These tips aren't about doing one work today. They are about making sure you will work tomorrow. But there's one more thing we often sacrifice in the middle of being productive. Holy fuck. It's our soul. And I think it's the most important part of this video. Let's talk about, I don't know if I can do it. Push like that. Sorry. Let's talk about hobbies. I did it. Here's the great irony. To be more productive, to be more productive, you actually need a life outside at work and study. We've been brainwashed in our society today into thinking that every hour not spent hustling is an hour wasted. We feel guilty for picking up a guitar, for take a photo of the sunset, or even play sports because you feel like useless for society. But that guilt is exactly what's killing your drive. And I will be honest with you. As a medical student, I know what real pressure feels like. There's the unspoken rule that if you aren't memorizing bones, enzymes, if you aren't studying all the day, you're falling behind. We're talking medicine and a life that every second counts. Every second. Every fucking second. But here's the irony. If you only live for the hustle, you eventually lose the very thing that makes you a good professional. And I think it's the most important thing you can have to be like a medical student or be only a human being, and it's humanity. For me, the gym and also the football field are where I reset my physical energy. It's the only place where I'm not like the medical student I'm supposed to be. I'm just a guy pushing his limits or part of a team. And when I need to reset my mind, I play video games or I can hang out with my friends. I can be here with my family watching a series or with my girlfriend. Because when I'm with her, I feel relaxed, I'm feeling peace and also in calm. I love you. And I lose myself in another story, another world, because the only thing I have to take care is to, I don't know, defeat the fucking boss that is annoying me for 30 fucking minutes, and not how to treat the disease. These hobbies are not a distraction from my medical career, no. They are the reason I can keep going, keep studying, I keep doing all my projects and goals I have. Because your hobbies are not a waste of time. Because hobbies are one thing that make us human and also like different in all society. They are the fuel of your willpower, the willpower that we were talking about before, and your mental health. If I only focused in productivity, I'd be a burned out person and I will become like a machine, like a processor, because I take the time to waste it on sweating at the gym or playing a match, and that time wasted is the same time that makes me a human being and that makes me Jose Manuel, that makes me the person I love to be. and I can return to my books with a clear head, to the really fucking annoying books. Don't let the world convince you that your passions or your hobbies are like a luxury for you, because they're not a luxury. It's a necessity, man. It's a necessity. Because at the end of the day, you're a human being. You're a person with a life to live, not just like a list of tasks to complete. Because we've been brainwashed that think that every hour must be optimized. And it doesn't function like that. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is rest. For example, for me, the future doctor that I want to be, the future professional is take a nap. Yep, sleep, go for a walk, take some pictures, play a match with my friends, be with my girlfriend, and watch the sunset. Because you aren't losing time, you're gaining time to keep going in the future. So, I want to hear from you. What's the hobby you have abandoned? Because I think hobbies are so important. Remember that we can be productive, but also we can be a real person. We can have our hobbies, we can have our things to do, and also we can rest, we can play video games, we can play soccer, football, we can play basketball, we can do whatever we want, even if we are productive. You can rest because you're a person that need to rest, and that's really great and important for you. I hope this conversation helps you to reflect and also to be more productive and change your shape. Let me see in the comments what the hobby you have abandoned, and see you in another conversation. And keep in touch, bro. Bye.